it's like an in-the-moment nightmare. Like, I can't really...
It is a nightmare.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So would you like to know the literal background?
Yeah. Tell me the literal background.
All right, and I can give a shout out in it. This is the background.
Mm-hmm.
So in school, I had a little bit of science, and I'm interested in science, but I don't have a deep understanding. I know way more chemistry and math than I thought I was ever going to know, and that was beautiful. I spent a couple years at a city college, which incidentally, Eddie Van Halen and his brother also went to. Before the pandemic torpedoed my whole deal, and I decided for various reasons it was time to get out and not follow through, I learned and really loved learning the chemistry. And then I was so innumerate that I only tested into intermediate algebra. And I was trying hard. I studied. So I had to do intermediate algebra. I had to do college algebra. I had to do college trig. And then I did 3 semesters of calculus. And by the 3rd semester, I'd gotten all the way to the end. And I had enough of the pandemic-related bullshit.
Yeah, yes.
And I dropped out at the very end. But I feel like
you made a good showing.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because I did not know any math from the beginning. I really had to work hard. But anyway, so I'm not as enumerate as I once was. But I basically have a really good high school education.
Yes. Who can sneeze at that?
Exactly. So anyway, I retain an interest in biology and science. I'm a little bit of a dabbler, but I actually make serious effort to constantly be reading and learning and all these things because I just enjoy it. And also it feels like occult knowledge. It feels like I'm...
Yeah, exactly. Peering through the brush.
So in the morning, if I'm resting before I'm going to work on some music and I'm having coffee or whatever, I'll put some things on. And one thing I've been listening to is this guy, Robinson Erhardt, has this incredible podcast, which I recommend. So one of the things he was doing was having people on to talk about foundations of physics. I was listening to those over and over again, and eating them up.
Right.
And that was in my brain. And it's through that I came to this song. And in this, there are these group of scientists and some kind of traveler. There is a rigorously assembled theory. It's experimentally replicated. It's verified by peer scientists in the sense that they did these experiments and it was replicated, i.e. they returned the same data. It's as right as anything has a right to be. Things get real. They're either projecting into some extra dimensional space or to space. It doesn't matter where. So the first inkling you get that something is wrong is we overprojected.
Oh, God, you're terrifying me.
We are disconnected from everything. We are unmoored. They're floating in this extra dimensional or space, wherever, and he's on the radio. There's an alphanumeric alphabet, and originally when I was writing the song, it didn't have a name.
Okay.
And in it, the word military people use for J is Juliet. And in my mind, it was like he was doing the radio, but there's an actual Juliet because there's an emotional transition that happens at the end. He says Juliet, and you're like, oh, it's just the Juliet letter from that whatever. And then his voice changes, and then it's a question, and then it's a desperate exclamation. We lost Juliet. So, and at the end, for anyone that properly listens to all to the end, the radio is happening, the transmission goes through, Juliet, Juliet, Juliet. Juliet is gone, by the way. They lost Juliet. Nothing, nothing, nothing.